Hey everyone, it's Pirate. Welcome to part 2 of the first episode of 6 Records, 6 Thoughts. It's a little over a week late. I have been super busy, as you can see how long in between it took me to film things. That's just the way life is for me right now, but I'm going to press. So I'm going to implement some new rules. You'll have part 1, which is the first part of the episode, and then you'll have part 2 about 2 weeks later. If I can get to it in a week, great. If not, I can give myself a little bit of push time. I'm going to be having a friend pick for part 1 of the next episode today. So then that way, next week, I can drop the new episode, which is about a week before my trip. And then to give me time to listen pretty much in the interim when that video goes up. So then that way you actually have a video for when I leave for my trip. And then you'll maybe have about a week where I don't have any content, and then I'll come back and do a wrap up. Just to let you know, I am going to my uncle's in Houston, and I already have a couple of things planned down there. There's a record store that's going to let me film down there, so I plan on just doing overall trip thoughts, and just pick that one record store to kind of showcase off. But that's later. This is now. So we're going to go through each of the records that I've listened to, and I'm going to give just a quick honest, I gave one spin each, my honest thoughts on them. So I did have a few notes that I'm going to go off of. So the first record that was chosen was Pipes of Peace by Paul McCartney. And I'm going to just briefly show them off each in turn. If you didn't get to part 1, you'll see everything internally. One thing I did like about this just overall is it did still have the original lyric inner sleeve, but I did opt to upgrade it to a black inner sleeve. And what I do like about this is there are 2 different style labels. But overall, the music, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I thought, some were just okay, mostly just meh. If I had to pick a couple of favorites, and I don't like that they don't have the track list on the back, I definitely liked Pipes of Peace, Say, Say, Say. From the back, I definitely liked Average Person. For having some star power on here, I'm kind of meh, but one thing I do like is just this cover. I really do like this cover, so I'm glad I have it. It's for the Paul McCartney collection, but I know there's probably better ones out there. Moving right along to record 2 is one that I have shown on this channel before, and it's Stone Sour's self-titled album. Now this is the Record Store Day version, and it came with a live CD. I did not include the live CD in my listen. I definitely love this, especially for the inner labels. I definitely like that it came in a polylined sleeve. And it did come with 2 lyric sheets, so I could keep one in while reading the other one listening. The one thing I do have to say as a deterrent is all of the songs on here are uncensored, except for some reason Bother, but that's the main reason I bought this. But I gave this one a 9 out of 10 because I listened to it in the background like once, and I never really thought to listen to Stone Sour's first outing, and it's just as solid as any of their newer stuff. It's different, but it's really solid. You can tell Corey was just a little bit raw on this, trying to figure out what he wanted from Stone Sour, but yeah, I really enjoy this. Again, it's 9 out of 10. Keeping the ball rolling, the third album that was chosen, and these are all going to be albums, not singles or 12-inch singles from the 6 Records, 6 Thoughts. The next one is the Rolling Stones' Emotional Rescue. This is just a single record, but all of these are single records, which is great. It still has the original inner sleeve, and I'm not going to open it up, but it does have the original poster as well. And I gave this one an 8 out of 10. I'm not the biggest Rolling Stones fan, but this one really won me over, and it was for, Summer Romance, Down in the Hole, She's So Cold. This album was really, really good, and it did surprise me quite a bit with what it had in store, especially because it still had the poster, and this was one of the ones I think my parents had and I inherited, so I'm really glad to have that one. The next one is the one that I didn't have as any expectations going into it. I knew they were great, but I didn't know it was this good. And this is Electric Light Orchestra's New World Record. And just to show you the back, this is a non-gatefold. It did have its original inner sleeve, but I ought to just put it for a paper sleeve. And I definitely love the yellow here on the inner label. I didn't show the other inner label because it was still the old paper one, and it's a fuss to get it out. That's one thing. That's why I knocked it down a point. But oh, I love this album. Telephone Line, Living Thing, Above the Clouds, Do Ya, Shangri-La. Everything on this album is just amazing. And the only reason I gave it a 9 out of 10 was some clicking and popping. But other than that, you know, that's standard fare. I mean, it was up to my standards, but still a little here and there. But loved it from beginning to end. I would definitely listen to this again. Keeping the ball rolling, we have 2 more to talk about. The next one is one that I have talked to death about on this channel. And it's Spawn Again, the tribute to Silverchair. This is a bunch of bands covering Silverchair songs, including the Midi Affliction, Void of Vision, In Heart's Wake, The Brave, North Lane, Hands Like Houses, Ocean Grove, Storm, The Sky, Tonight Alive, main reason I got this, and Columbus. It came with a really nice inner sleeve. Of course, I opted out of that inner sleeve so that it could be put in a modified sleeve, and you can notice it's the only colored one out of this, but it's a really nice splatter, and I'll show you the back label as well. This was mainly for the Tonight Alive collection, but every time I listen to this tribute album, I'm always impressed with the quality. And essentially, I find something new to like every single time I listen to this, and that's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's one of the best, if not the best, tribute album I've heard in a very long time. It was a really good effort, and it didn't feel like a cash grab to me. So 10 out of 10 for that one. The last one is Chicago 6. I talked about my Chicago collection that I stole from my mother, but I have the entirety of the Terry Kath and Peter Cetera eras, except for one record itself, and that is Greatest Hits Part 2. But it did come with a yellowing inner sleeve, and I opted just to switch it out for a plain white sleeve that I happen to have. This, to me, is just classic Chicago. Just You and Me is a classic. I love Critics' Choice. I love Something in This City Changes People, and Hollywood. It's classic. It's not like, you know, the high energy, pardon me, little piece of paper, high energy that you're used to seeing from Chicago, but it is classic. And I believe this is the era, if you've ever watched the Chicago documentaries, where they actually had their own ranch and they were writing songs, and I think this was during that era, but it is very reminiscent of the era. You know, it's not all of them have to be completely high energy, but it's still, you know, everything is solid on this. And Terry Kath, anything he touched was something that I absolutely loved. So yeah, that's it for that one. So that about wraps it up for this first ever episode of 6 Records, 6 Thoughts. I'm still trying to figure things out as I go along, but thank you so very much for watching. If you want to watch part 1, I'll drop a link in the description below. Also, check out the link to my Discord in the description below if you want to chat with me and see the goings-on of the channel. It's going to be down there. Also, I'd like to give a very special shout-out to one of my favorite Discord servers, some of the greatest people I've talked to. They've been, you know, rooting for me for a very long time, and I'm not going to tout here, but I was one of the first 100 people to join, and we are over 1,000 people strong on there. So if you want to hang out in a really cool, chill, awesome server that, you know, is music-based, and there's a lot of great people, great minds there, go ahead and check it out. I'll leave a link in the description for them as well. I want to thank you so very much for watching again. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to try and get more content out like this. If you like this content, if you like vinyl record content, if you like talking music content, it will be up on this channel. Just as an aside, I am working on my Tool review that is going to be coming out hopefully the week of when I'm gone with my trip. I'll be filming it this week some point and get that up so you have some content while I am gone on my trip that weekend that I'm gone. But other than that, again, thank you so very much for watching. If you like this, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit a like, and tell me if you've heard any of these albums, what you think in the description below. And now is the wrap up. I say this saying at the end of every single video: when the waters get rough, please, please keep on sailing. Even if you feel like no one believes in you, I believe in you. Even if you feel like you're at your darkest moment and you have nobody rooting for you, I am rooting for you. I want the best out of you. There are plenty of others that want the best out of you. Keep going. I know you can do it. And thank you once again for watching. I'll see you next time.